YouTube was good. It's your boy, Paul Harris, aka Chris. Oh, hey, guess what? This is your first time tuning in. Go ahead, hit the doggone subscribe button, hit the notification bell every time I post up new content. Uh, it's Friday. I ain't got no job, and I ain't got shit to do. So I feel like, hey, why not pour up me a tasty beverage? Come on here and talk shit to y'all about the latest and greatest. And just like what I did the other day when I did the show about the Passport Bros or the so-called Passport Brothers, right? Um, I actually really said what Jackie Gleason, aka Sheriff Buford T. Justice, when he said, "Well, what we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law," and and then and so I could use the Bill Cosby one, right? But it really wouldn't go as good because how he said it was, now as ridiculous as some things may sound, there comes a time of desperation when no one's looking that you will give the ridiculous a try. The only problem with that one is everybody was looking that could actually really look, I guess. So, and so, all of the questions have come about. Well, would you let your wife come out looking like that and all that kind of stuff? And everybody that talked about it from comedy hype news, uh, hell, just anybody imaginable, they have actually really talked about this. So, uh, I listened to what uh what old Corey Holcomb had to say about it. And then the guy, he was like, "Well, that makes sense." I'm like, "Well, does it really make sense?" Because it's just for the fact that, you know, unless this motherfucker just actually really been just blowing his money, or it could be just for the simple fact that these motherfuckers ain't got no money, you know, from the start. Uh, hey, it is what it is, right? Hold on for a minute. So, in either case, they like I say, waiting on waiting on my other two, right? But the thing about it though is this, people, ain't no way in hell. Whoop, uh, ain't no way in hell that I will allow my wife coming out the house looking like that. That is that is like the wrong damn house. Don't even ask me. I mean, for the I mean, put it like this: you can't even buy shit. You can't even go buy nothing like that, and you call yourself married to me, right? Because I already know what the intent is, right? I know what you look like with no clothes on, right? So so again, why even go out and buy something like that knowing damn well, right? We already know why you buying it, right? And then it's just for the simple fact. Listen, people, we done seen the pictures, right? We done see old Russell Wilson looking like an old lost puppy in the pictures, right? So I'm just like, so what? I mean, what do y'all actually really expect? I mean, here's now this is what I don't understand, right? Out of all of these so-called men experts, and you know, and they quick to call somebody a simp this, simp that, simp the other, right? But at least for this part right here, I ain't heard nobody call Russell Wilson a simp, right? I mean, like it's like with them folk over there on comedy hype, right? So, cause Faison Love, he had to get his little bit in, and and which for the most part, I agree with everything that he said about that, right? And then the other motherfuckers on there, whatever Yamika or whatever the fuck her name is, right? I mean, but tomorrow, well, look at him, he fat and out of shape. I'm like, it wasn't even about him, right? It was about of what he put up a picture. He see what the woman has become versus what the woman used to be, right? So it's just like what I told y'all on Wednesday. You got from put like this from 19, like I said, from 1983 going backwards, right? Maybe you know what? Maybe even 1984. So 1984 going backwards, right? You was born. Guess what? You know you was born during that time frame. You did something you ain't had no business. You got your ass whooped. You know your the grandmothers, they was at the appropriate age to be grandmothers. The grandfathers were at the appropriate age as well. But the thing about it though is this: it's almost like when what comedian Bruce said that one time, right? He said, well, I'm from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever, and he said, I'm from where that hell, you 23 years old used to get your ass whipped by your parents. so so that's that right there is what has left. You know, it's just like, and I said this again. I said this. I'm saying the same shit that I said on Wednesday, right? Just like what Bernie Mac said. Say, remember Big Mama? Big Mama gone, right? He said, what, your grandma now, what, you 24, great grandma 36? Talking about I ain't babysitting shit. So, so in either case, right, just like I say, what Bernie Mac said, we're like, what's your grandma now? What, you 24, great grandma 36? I ain't babysitting shit, right? And so it's pretty much like what Faison Love said. And what this other guy that I was watching, all of the men, right, are actually are pretty much saying, hey, how where are the older folk? Where are the older women trying to put these younger women up on game? Oh damn. So again, right? But then again, God damn, really? Okay. Well, we got one that's he won't he's not in. He can't make it. So hopefully the other one can. So I'm doing this. So so in that case, so basically what he was saying is that, well, how come the older women ain't trying to tell these younger women, hey, look, how to carry yourself, this, that, and third. And then he said, well, one of the reasons is because, well, these older women are acts like really. Oh, I'm so sick of this damn phone. So basically, what he was saying is that these older women are out here competing just as hard, if not harder, for the younger, for the same group of men. Lord have mercy. Just hold on. Okay, so in that case, they doing all this stuff, and so they'll be, well, Super Smooth should be on shortly. So basically, what I'm saying is that uh, a lot of it is like the older women are actually like really trying to compete for the same type of man that these younger women are trying to get after. But then again, that I will agree to that to a certain extent because, but because they feel like, okay, cause so okay, say you go out and you get a woman that's 50, is in her 50s. Let's just say anywhere from 45 to 55, right? So she got where she might have lost a little bit or whatever, but she in the gym trying to tighten up, trying to tighten up, uh, a few areas and what have you. And then you feel like once you done did that or whatever, then you go out and I guess you go test the waters. It's almost like going fishing almost. Like you put the bait on the hook, you throw it out there, and then uh, hope that whatever you catch is gonna be something that's actually like really worthy of you catching, right? So, but then again, I also look at this in fact, okay, well, if it's the older women that's looking for the younger men because they feel like, I guess they feel like that men around their age, they're either they look they either married, right, and so that's off limits, or they feel like that they can't last as long as the younger men, where or they feel like, okay, well, how you get to be this old and you're not actually like you not established. You still out there trying to get it to what happened, right? So, but and so it's a lot of it's a lot of avenues that you can actually really look at this and be like, okay, well, I get all that. So
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you get the paper for a second? Go on YouTube with Pop. Go on YouTube with Pop. There we go. Okay.
okay, so what's good?
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
We good. Just like say Zach, he can't make it, so he got stuff he got to do. And then
Yeah.
me personally, I really can't stay on too long. I gotta somewhere. I gotta be like around about like 1:30. I got up to 1:30. So whatever we gonna say, we can go ahead and say it, and then we can be done with it.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but as
So
you see,
what you want to start with? And hello to the grandbaby there.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, but let's because I was actually really starting to talk about it. Ciara and what she had on at the what was it, the Oscars? It was one of them events.
Something like that. I
Mhm.
I just want to know as a married man, as a
Yeah.
married black man
Uh-huh.
who also let's I just want to say this. I want to ask the question to you because I know you adore your wife.
Yeah.
I've never, you know what I'm saying. You a man's man when it comes. You know what I'm saying. I have a lot of men in my life that I look up to, and you're one of them.
Well, I appreciate that.
And I know, no different than my uncle, my grandfather, my dad. When you have a wife, you look at them a
Uh-huh.
certain way.
Okay.
And I'm asking you as a black man that adores his wife,
Yeah.
that looks at his wife the same way. How
Yeah.
do you feel? How do you feel in that same mindset?
Well, first of all, let me just go ahead and say, hell no, I would not let my wife going out the house looking like that. Whether it's this one that I'm married to now, or whether it was the one that I was previously married to, right?
Right.
Matter of fact, you not even finna carry you not finna carry your ass in no clothing store and picking some shit out like that. Okay? Don't do it because I'm gonna tell you hell no. Right? I mean because my whole deal is I look at it like this, right? Let's just say the shit was in reverse, right? Now here it is. I'm about to be what my uncle had here in like about 2 weeks. I'll be 50 years old, and I like to think that even at 50, right, I still look pretty good, right?
Right, right.
And so I'll be like, okay, well, how would you feel if I was to wear something that was just as revealing as what Ciara had on, right? I'm like, you wouldn't go for that too much. I mean, and it's just for the simple fact it's all about the type of character that you have about yourself, right? You know, it's just like, okay, if I'm married, right? This is my wife. You should have you as a woman or you as a man, you should have enough gumption about yourself to be like, you know what? I'm married. I'm not gonna do this to my husband. I'm not gonna do this to my wife. But it's quite obvious that this ain't the case. I mean, because it's just like what I said. I watch all these other YouTube channels where all these guys they'll sit up there and they'll talk about simp this, simp that, simp the other. But what the hell did Russell Wilson do the other night, right? If if that wasn't the ultimate simp, I don't know what the fuck was. I mean, because it, you know, it just again, it's just some things that you shouldn't have to tell your wife, right? You know not to come out the house looking like that,
But
right?
okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
If I feel as though because Russell Wilson is her husband,
Yeah.
and from a woman's point of view,
Yeah.
I feel like because okay, and this may or may not have anything to do with the law of attraction, but the law of attraction is real, and I don't mean by physical capabilities.
Yeah.
Your physical, the way you look physically, is not necessarily how you are mentally. You could be the finest person in the world and have the shittiest attitude.
Exactly.
You know, the best feature about a woman, in my point of view, is how she presents herself. The best feature about a man is how charismatic is he. Can he control a room? Ciara and Russell are one of the most talked about black couples, but I feel like if Russell, when she was struggling to cope with the realities, you know, with Future, which was one of her most mature, you know, her most recent mature relationship, she had a whole baby by him. They were engaged.
Yeah.
She was what, baby mama number who, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody was really giving a damn. Nobody was giving a damn. You know, I'm sorry, but I ain't no man, and I ain't sitting here saying I want to be one, but I would never in my fucking life try to make somebody my 5th, 6th, 7th baby mama.
Yeah.
If I've learned one thing from my uncles or even my own father, when you have kids by multiple women, your life is a living hell.
Yeah.
Because just like women struggle with a lot of things, I would say men that are comfortable enough to talk about it, that's a struggle in itself too. You got to get all your kids together. You got to deal with all these women. You got to deal with all these personalities. And women get on your nerves. They get on mine.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, damn, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But and my point is, it's like, I don't understand our society, our culture. Y'all didn't say nothing when she was with Future. Y'all didn't do nothing. Y'all didn't do nothing when that girl was having that baby with Future. But she get with Russell Wilson, who was with a white woman before Ciara.
Okay.
And I find it very odd because, I mean, in my opinion, you talking about Russell or simp? No, that's a good black man.
Yeah.
In any context, any way you put it. Because he's what every woman wants. A good man, somebody that's faithful, loves the Lord, has a degree, a good job. That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
That's what any father would want their daughter to be with.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a simp. Okay, so what? You want him to have no job, sell drugs, make rap music, have 10 baby mamas, no hell. If Future died today, I'm sure we're gonna hear the same shit. They ain't got no life insurance policy, and people gonna be fighting over their estate. Okay, so you want black women to deal with that over somebody that's an ideal father figure for her child, and then went and multiplied that, and y'all mad at what this woman got on? Like I told my friend, I ain't got no problem with it. What they do is what they do. They live in a whole different tax bracket. I don't give a damn. But they both look good to me. Russell and Ciara look like the paid subscription, and everybody else just look like the free bootleg video. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, when Russell was looking at Ciara, because I'm taking a different perspective on it. I feel like he looking at her like, hell yeah, I won the damn lottery. I mean, you could see it all over his face. You know, I get it, but the world we live in today is gonna happen. Hell, Jennifer Lopez did it when she was with Diddy. Lil' Kim did it. Everybody, Kim Kardashian did it. They ain't say nothing about that.
Yeah.
You know
what though? But the thing about it though, there's Smoot is like, okay, it's okay. Don't you start. It's okay. Yeah, come on now. I'm trying to do a show. All right. It's okay to act like, you know, to show off your husband, show off your wife or whatever, you know. But I just think you can actually like really push that shit just a little too far.
And yeah, we agree. It was pushed a little too far. We're not gonna say that it wasn't, but we know that it was, and that's the world that they live in. What we call it, Holly weird.
Yeah. So, And so, that's my only. So that's the only reason why I'm saying, well, damn. I mean, she might well just came out like just butt ass naked and see what the fuck would have happened, you know. So, and then the folk over on comedy hype, Faison Love, he didn't say nothing about Ciara. He put a picture up of Harris Faulkner, one of the anchor people on Fox News, right? And so he just said, "Well, what happened to women like this?"
They still
Right? And,
around. They still
yeah,
around. They just not on TV. They just not interested in taking pictures.
yeah. And so so I'm so and that's what I was saying. I'm like, cause here it is. My wife is 51. I'm finna be 50, right? And so, just like I said, we grew up in a time frame where that, you know, I just feel like, okay, you knew how to, your parents knew how to present themselves once they got out, and then they act like, well, they would, instill what was taught to them into us, right? So, and it's just like what I said on Wednesday when I talked about the Passport brothers, right? I just said, what happened to Big Mama? Said Big Mama gone, right? It
Big
said,
Mama gone, and
yeah,
then you got the '90s that come in
yeah,
that tore up everything. So
uh-huh,
then you got the crack babies,
yeah,
and then you got the OGs that they ain't they you got the welfare era where they didn't want the daddies in the household.
yeah,
Now you got I seen a young couple arguing, and I seen the worst shit that I could ever see happen in front of my eyes. It wasn't nobody getting shot or nothing like that. It was a young man and a young lady arguing.
uh-huh,
And of course, it's about some stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the damn baby.
yeah,
The young lady looked pregnant again, so you already wrong.
uh-huh,
You're not in no serious committed relationship. They already wrong on that. Then the baby standing in the middle of the street like he finna do something. He got his
uh-huh,
little stick ready to protect his mama. I
mm,
said, so that's already wrong in a sense. And then the
yeah,
daddy, you not even concerned about your son standing in the middle of the street while you hollering at his mama. So you teaching him that that's good behavior.
yeah,
But here's
yeah,
what I found that was so wrong. He said, "Can I have my son?" She said, "No." He walked off and drove off. Now, my concern is this: when did it be okay to listen? That's your child just as much as it is hers. If you
yeah,
want your child, you don't take no for an answer. You
exactly,
can compromise. Hey, I want to get okay, I'm gonna get him today. I'll bring him back tomorrow. It's
yeah,
spring break. Of course, in the end, you go back to the baby mama. Oh, it's a deadbeat. No, both of y'all are deadbeat parents because
yeah,
nobody wants to listen anymore. Everybody wants things done in a microwave minute. Nobody wants to pay attention to grandma no more because grandma had mama when they was young.
yeah,
And no different than what you're doing right now. The foundation that you lay right now with your grandchildren, I know you ain't gonna play.
hell no, they
You
already
know,
know, yeah,
I I,
yeah,
I know for a fact even in my own life, I know I just can't bring somebody to my mama house. I
yeah,
can't just do that because some of us were still raised by that same, what's wrong and what's right, better.
yeah,
But you have these people, these generation of folks, and they get all the attention. They get all the limelight on that negative aspect of that hood, that ghetto, that ratchet mentality. And all cultures have it.
yeah,
Black people have it. White folks have it. Mexican people have it. Indian folk have it. Everybody got that side of a culture that you just like y'all just said to hell with tradition.
uh-huh,
And that's where I feel like it's gonna differ because a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of married men didn't like it, but I think that if she did it with Future, would nobody say nothing?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Again, just like I said, I knew that she was with Future, and so, I mean, my whole deal is that I never paid attention to Ciara all that much. I mean, if her song or any of her songs come on the
That's
radio,
the point.
yeah,
Nobody never really paid attention to the girl when she was
yeah,
talking to 50 Cent, when she was with Bow Wow. Nobody paid attention and nobody brought neither one of them to the limelight. Russell was just a football player winning the Super Bowl,
yeah,
getting a divorce. Ciara was just another baby mama until they got together. It's like, oh, well, it's like the saying goes, if you ain't doing nothing right if they ain't talking about you.
yeah,
And nobody liked that. Like how Slim Thug got on there and started that, you know, they a simp. And I get it coming from a person with the name Slim Thug. Okay, yeah, you a simp. Okay, so what if he's too corny or too simpish? What do y'all want? What do y'all want to see? Because here we have a guy, you got Michael B. Jordan. You got Jonathan Majors now coming on to the scene. These are good black men.
yeah.
What more do you want? What more positivity do you want? They corny.
But what those smoke is like. It's pretty much like what you said. These so-called generational people, right? So it's almost like, okay, well, whatever is in, right? Then if you're involved with it, then okay, we can deal with you. Or if you're not involved in it, then no, we can't, or vice versa. But I just think that it's just like when my grandmother was living, she always say, y'all too busy looking at that damn idiot box, right? And then the first time somebody do something, right? Then y'all all in for it, right? So and Smoot, you know this, I've never been a follower. I don't, I don't do what everybody else do, right? And then it's just for the simple fact that it's just pretty much like what you said, nothing was said when she was with 50 Cent or Future or whoever, right? But I guess, yeah, I guess they probably looking at stuff like, oh, but well, this is Russell Wilson. He plays football. He don't rap. But I'm just like, okay, but again, it's pretty much like what you say. I'm just like, okay, well, like what gives here? It's almost like, okay, that you saying that are they saying that the football player is better than the rappers per se? Is that what they saying? I mean, because again, you go and look at whatever Ciara had on when she was with Future or 50 Cent. I'm pretty sure it probably wasn't as as revealing.
I mean, she was much younger then. She was
Yeah,
she was far much younger. She hadn't stepped into her womanhood. I mean, this is a woman that had what, 3 kids?
yeah,
She looked damn good to me. I mean, I'm not gonna take away from it, but I mean, yeah, granted, I would have been a bit skeptical, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, they look good together,
yeah, uh-huh,
and a lot of people talk about what they won't do, what they would do, but it's like they put on a performance, and the fact I love how they don't say nothing.
yeah,
I love how they don't say nothing. They just let people talk.
yeah,
That's the part that I love about it. Now,
yeah,
granted, yeah, I disagree. It could have been a little covering up. It could have
yeah,
been a little. It could have been a little more. That would have ran me hot. I ain't
uh-huh,
gonna lie. But
yeah,
you know, it's a lot of other things that done ran me hot about the Oscars.
yeah,
other than what she got on. I
yeah.
want to know why Angela Bassett ain't getting no Oscar.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
now, Smoot, we talked about that already.
I
You know,
know, but I'm
yeah,
just saying they was focused on the girl dress so damn bad, it was just
yeah,
like, damn, can we just get our own damn Oscars?
yeah. So, I mean, it's just like I just think that if you just gotta have an award or whatever, then go out and and go create your own stuff, and then hell, leave them alone. So, but then again, then everybody be looking at, oh well, we trying to separate. I'm like, well, damn, if you don't,
That's the
I mean,
point.
if you just like I say, if you don't want to give, a actress like Angela Bassett her just due, but you could give it to somebody that I don't know what she wanted for, but I mean, here's somebody that what is Jamie Lee Curtis really known for? She's known for playing in the Halloween movies,
Exactly.
right? So again, I'm just like, okay, so you do this, and then you piss people off, but it's just like what I said, when put like this, when you play the wife of Malcolm X, then you turn around, you play Tina Turner, and then I mean, so here it is. These are these were powerful people, especially like when Malcolm X was living. Powerful people. A lot of people really didn't care for Malcolm X too much, and they probably don't care for Malcolm X too much now. So, but then you turn around, then you play the wife of that civil rights leader, right? Again, this is what Hollywood looks at, and then it's just like what I told you, like she was the mother of the Black Panther or whatever, and then I told you like the whole 3/5 of a human being type of deal that was in the Constitution, right? And then now you playing the mother of a superhero, which again that's something that you know that we never had, or it was something that we had and nobody actually really paid attention to it,
But
right?
when are we gonna say when are we gonna say this is what we do? This
Yeah.
is what
So
we want. When are we gonna say that we don't need your validation? We don't need a seat at your table. We're gonna make our own table. We're gonna make our own curriculum. When are we gonna say this is our standard?
but you know
Because
what those
that's exactly what has been done thus far.
uh
Why is it that anybody's business? Because I think that it's a culture shock to some people. Oh, this our gossip is different. The way we look at
yeah,
things is different, and it's like they're trying to y'all getting old and tired up. We tired of seeing some of these whitewashed movies, and then we put out, like somebody said, Christopher Reeve was the first Superman. Superman ain't died.
yeah,
Superman ain't get shot. Batman been running for how long?
yeah,
One of my favorite, 007. How many 007s we done had?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So and then I look on the news. I'm reading a report that it's some controversy with Black Adam. I said, what do y'all got against black action figures? Can our little black boys have somebody to look at? Why did Black Panther have to die?
yeah. I know, right? So,
You
but
know, I just it's just so much that goes along with it, and then all they got to do is talk about this girl dress.
yeah. I mean, but and I'm like, but and I agree with you that Smoot, with the Black Panther, then you have the Black Adam, you know, and it's just again, this goes back to, hey, look, they'll put this hand in your face all doggone day long. They want you to pay attention to this one when you should be paying attention to the other hand, right? So I just think in some areas it could be like, okay, yeah, we slowly but surely, you know, on the come up, if you will. But like the majority, but like still the majority of it is still dominated, by Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, right? But the thing about the Oscars is this is what I found out is like, they got actually like there's some black folks on the panel that that'll decide, well,
Yeah, it's
that
just like well, all of them they have
yeah,
that same board.
yeah,
That's why I find it very odd, like the process that they went through with Will Smith. They banned him for 10 years from the Oscars,
yeah.
and that that shit with
Him and
Chris
Chris Rock.
Rock. You wait a whole year, man. That shit is over with. That
But did you now? Because see, because I did two shows on that, right? And because like the first go round, I watched it and I didn't catch it, right? And because I was, because my thing is this, right? Because I'm like this, why wait so long to say something, and then just like say when he got slapped, right? Uh, he was getting ready to go on the road. He was doing his he was gonna do his comedy tour then, right? So so basically what you telling me is that this is fresh. This is brand new, right? But you ain't gonna talk about it, right? I'm like, no, I'm not buying that. And then it's a part on that Netflix special. Because when I caught it, I called my wife and I said, listen to this, right? And he said, yeah, y'all know what happened. I got slapped by Suge Smith, right? Everybody laughed about it, but he said, yeah, I got slapped about a year ago. Then he turned. It's like he paused and he said, oh, just last week I got slapped. So for me, right, I'm like, okay, so which one is it? Was it last year or was it last week? Because because think about it like this: if if rappers or anybody that's in the music business, regardless of genre, right, they can produce songs or whatever, and then they put that shit on the shelf. And then by the time they decide, well, let's go ahead, let's put this on the album, and that track, what they did, could be 4 or 5 years old,
yeah,
right?
Dr. Dre do it all the time.
Yeah. So I just so for me, right, I'm just like, I mean, think about it for a minute. For a comedian, right? You can't sit up here and tell me that that's too fresh, or it was too fresh for you not to talk about it the following week after. I mean, because if I was a comedian, I sure would have did it, because if you look at his ticket sales before the slap, and then you look at the ticket sales after the slap had happened, that shit went up, like, depending on what the seats that you had, that shit went up $30 or $100. Because the audience, regardless of where he went, they was actually really looking for him to actually really talk about that whole incident. You can't tell me that they didn't. You can't, as a comedian, you can't hold that shit for that damn long. I'm so sorry. So, but it is what it is. So uh oh, I got a question for you. because this is I got a question for you. What you think about that 31-year-old teacher that got pregnant by I think he was 14, right? and ain't nothing fit to happen to her.
It's a hot ass mess.
Yeah, and my whole deal is again, it's like, well, Paul Mooney said it like in one of his concerts before he died. He said, these kids now, they fucking the teacher, right? And
Yeah.
so he
And
said,
don't nobody give a damn about it. Don't nobody give a damn about you fucking the teacher. They've been fucking the teacher for the longest.
yeah. And
Yeah,
so they
the
was like,
teacher started it, huh?
but he said, and you wonder why your 14-year-old is up at 5 o'clock in the morning drinking coffee. He too busy fucking the damn teacher, right? So it's just like what he said, because you remember back in the day, right? You come into class, you give the teacher an apple, and then she looked at him like he said. So he gave the teacher an apple, like apple, nigga. How big is your dick? So, so, it's stuff like that, right? You got to be like, okay, how long? It's been happening forever and a day. It's just that nowadays, for whatever reason, motherfuckers are getting caught, and I'm just like, so and then for this, and you, they're looking at it like this. You already know who fucking told. You already know who told, right? So with at least, but I'm just like, okay, you mama go ahead and say you twice that boy's age, right? And you couldn't do no better than that. You a grown ass woman, right? And you could do that's the best that you could do was pick up on a 14-year-old. I'm like, okay, all right, I got it, but I don't know, Smoot. Some of these people, there's some sick bastards in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all it is, because it's so many things that you can say that comes up out of it. How did this even get started?
Yeah,
Who coerced who? Because if you look at it one way, a young man, of course, is going to be fantasized by a fully matured woman.
yeah,
But in your right mind, as a fully matured grown woman that is well capable of understanding how detrimental this is, you just robbed this young man of his years.
yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you? The same question that I asked to older men that do the same thing to young women is in this same setting.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying if you 25 and he 45, all right, cool, y'all do y'all thing. But I'm saying y'all want to talk about, they always say, the LGBT is responsible for pedophilia. Well, what the hell you call this?
No,
What the hell? What the ain't no teacher never, no. What?
Yeah.
No, this they straight doing this.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you something. There, Smoke. All of my teachers, except for a select few, right? They all look like the cafeteria women, And I swear that if I didn't know any better, that they changed out of uniform and then serve lunch, right? So she yeah.
You want to keep going? Y'all gonna have to leave in a few minutes.
Okay, I got that.
Okay.
She ain't gotta be there too. That's 15 minutes.
But you still gotta drop the baby off the mama and then go pick up Zaya.
Yeah, I got all that too.
Zaya ain't gonna get out there. Let her out till 2:35.
Yeah. So, but like I said, those Smoke, it's just one of those things that, the teachers back in my day, right, versus these teachers now. Now I can sit up here and tell you, and I'm like, well, damn, what the fuck was they at when I was in school?
Right.
You know,
I'm trying to
so,
tell you.
but but I just, like for me, right, I would be like, hell no, right? I'm just like, what can I, because it'll be like, what can I possibly do with you? I'm 14, you 31. I mean, like, really, let's actually really stop and think about that for a minute, right? That ain't finna make no type of sense. I mean, now, yeah, your buddies, they may high five you and all that kind of stuff, right? But but in all actuality, that everybody know that shit is wrong, is fucked up,
It's
or
wrong
whatever.
as hell.
And
Yeah.
then as far as like, I mean, as far as like, with the older man and the younger woman, you know, I mean, here's the deal with that. To each his own. But just know, for me, even if I wasn't married, right, I'm not gonna go out and get nobody 20 years younger than me, right?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm definitely not. And like even for me now, when you older,
Yeah,
it's a different type of attraction.
yeah,
And I've had to tell. I look here. I've had to say to myself, young lady, go on, get the hell on away from me.
yeah,
Cause this ain't no ma'am. I have you in the house by 10 o'clock.
yeah, exactly,
I
right,
mean, this ain't live your life because that's what somebody told me when I was younger. Live your 20s because your 20s are supposed to be the years that you fuck up. And we live in a world where everybody wants something in a microwave minute. No, live your life. Go to
yeah,
these parties, meet these people. I ain't saying go out here and be spread it wide and hang it low. I ain't saying all that.
yeah, I
What
get
I'm
you on that.
saying is get you some knowledge, get you some experience. So that
Yeah,
way, by the time that you reach, my age or your age or even more,
yeah,
you ain't for the trickery. And that's the thing. It's just that a lot of people is being bought and sold to the highest bidder. And the
yeah,
TV is buying and selling. The social media is buying and selling.
yeah.
And it's just people fall for it. People fall for it every day.
hmm it's just like, like with me, right? I look at, I would say like, even I would probably say like, by the time that I turned, what I say by the time that I turned 27, right? Maybe a little bit younger. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that I had the game figured out, but I knew, hey, look, if I go this route, and if I'm not careful, right, then it's going to be bad business on both ends, right? You know, and I always, I always go back to what my mom used to tell me, because you beware, like, okay, well, I mean, because even back then, to actually like really define a female that didn't have no kids, that was like motherfucker needed in a haystack, right? So my mom should always tell me, she said, boy, you don't need no ready-made family, right? So I mean, so like, if you had a kid, then it was a high probability that I wasn't gonna do nothing with you, because I'm looking at this like, okay, well, where's the baby daddy, right? I'm not trying to actually like really handle that type of responsibility, and
Right.
then the first time that you get pissed off at me, or if I'm not doing something or whatever, then you go back running to this motherfucker.
I don't tolerate that shit at all. I don't
You
have
know,
time.
so
I don't have time for it. It's your responsibility to set the tone. If you don't set it,
yeah,
I'm gonna set it. And if you got one time, I'm sorry. That's not a situation because a child is involved,
yeah,
and
uh-huh,
that child's once you become involved with somebody that has children, that child becomes the primary priority
Yeah.
in everything that you do.
Uh-huh.
And depending on their age, that can be a challenge to some people,
Yeah.
you know, or you know, or something easy. I mean, take myself for example. I raised three girls that weren't even my own.
Yeah.
You know, when you do that, but I took it upon myself, you know, to go the extra mile. But everybody ain't like that. Everybody isn't able. But that's
Yeah.
because I had somebody in my life that did the same for me.
Yeah. I mean, because it's it was the same thing, with me. Just like say, um, but like what I said in my book, and I've said it plenty of times, where like I didn't meet my actual dad until I was 19,
Right.
and then it was like that was something that my mom kept from me because she felt like okay, because when I was born, my dad was still in the army, right, and so she actually really knew the ramifications if she would have like this. Well, hey, look, here's your son, right? Because you know how the United States Army is about adultery. And then here it is. I'm living proof.
During that time, yeah, they
Yeah,
was they wasn't playing no
yeah,
games with that.
yeah. So here it is. Like I'm living proof. So that just goes to show you, yeah, you was fucking around. So she didn't want to jack up his career, which is okay, which I get. That's understandable, right? And so, but there's my stepdad. He was there, and then he wasn't. And then here it is. Like when I got married the first time around, she had her son. He was what, 2, and he was getting ready to turn 3. So I just look at him. I'm like, look, that's you know, regardless of what the fuck she may say or what he may say now, I'm like, look, that one there belonged to me because I had him ever since he was 2, right? Uh, Kept him out of trouble the best way that I could, know how. I transferred my motherfucking educational benefits over to him so he could actually really be a success. I did all that. Just like I said, when he was calling himself trying to play football and all that kind of stuff. And I told them coaches, I said, look, if his grades ain't right, I bet not catch his ass out here on this damn football field.
Right.
So it's so for me, right, yeah, I can sit up here and say, hey, look, been there, done that. I got the damn t-shirt, you know, the whole nine. But like it's like nowadays, you do that shit now, right? It's almost like during the course of time, people change. I mean,
Yeah, things change, culture change, people change, in the way that you got to operate. You know, you don't do all that hard work just to say the same. It
yeah.
ain't it,
So
it ain't it ain't the same no more.
yeah, and then it's just because I was telling Zach this a while back. I'm just like, okay, because like I said, I've been around long enough to I can watch TV and I can be like, you know what, this didn't happen before. This didn't happen. Whether it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, I could be like, look, I didn't see this before. They going down that same motherfucking rabbit hole, right? And then it's almost like, okay, well, let's just hope that somebody don't say something to this younger generation. Say, you know what? They didn't did this already, right? I done lived through this once already. So I mean, to sit up there and actually really watch it happen, right? I'm just like, sometimes I just be motherfucking amazed. I'm like, okay. I mean, like for the young folk, okay, they fresh out the gate. They don't know no fucking better. But I'm talking about motherfuckers that's my age and older, and they still don't catch it. So I was like, y'all motherfuckers. Everybody, I guess you have that those select few in every generation. You gonna have those few that motherfucker they fall through the cracks. And I'm just like, come on now, y'all. I mean, it ain't it. It can't be that motherfucking hard. But then again, it is. For me, smoke. How I operate. You and Zach both, and anybody else that's acts like really that have served with me, y'all know how I do things. Y'all know how I view shit, right? I'm all like I call bullshit when I feel it is necessary, right? And it's pretty much like going back to Ciara and Russell Wilson. When everything is all said and done, that's their business. But sometimes I just feel like, okay, yeah, it's your business, but everybody don't need to see your motherfucking business. I'm sorry. So I don't know. I mean, it just these people, nowadays, you know, and I know I said this plenty of times, right? You get a person, male or female, right? They'll wait whether it's daylight, like how it is now, or they'll wait till nighttime and they'll go out, they'll get on their phone or whatever, they go on Facebook or Instagram or whatever the fuck they got, and then they'll say, hey, I'm butt ass naked, I'm gonna go outside, run to the street light and back. And then that shit will actually really go viral versus somebody that's actually really trying to tell you something that's actually really worthwhile. And so I'm just like, I mean, I get it, but I'm just like, damn, so I'm just like, so it's then come to this. So it's like, so this is what the fuck we do now. This is what's hot on the street, I guess. So I mean, I tell my wife all the time, I'll be like, look, I stopped trying to figure this shit out a long time ago. Right? If I feel like talking about it, I'll talk about it. If not,
right.
But I'll say this, and then I'm gonna get up and get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta run myself too, man.
Yeah, because I told you I put in from my other 40% to get this PTSD stuff down.
You and me both. I'm working on it. It's a slow road.
And so basically, like, because I did the VTC on the 1st of this month, right? So I told that woman every damn thing, right? I said, look, I don't go to sleep unless I drink something or take something or a combination of both. And I just told her 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a combination of both.
Yeah, right? That's a daily thing. No, like you an alcoholic. No, yeah. Ain't nothing like that now.
and then, because she asked me, she said, well, Mr. Harris, when was the last time you had a job? I said about a year and a half ago. And I just said, now I've had jobs, like I call myself trying to be busy once I got out the Army.
Right? That's why, but to be honest, that's why I drive trucks. Cause I ain't got to deal with no damn body.
Yeah.
And once I say, hey, look, I'm in the Army, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You give me my work, leave me alone. See, don't fuck with me, don't say nothing to me, leave me alone.
But the thing about it though, with me, Smoke, because she asked me, she said, well, how many jobs have you had? I said, about 5. I said, and none of them lasted no longer than like about 3, 4 months. Right? I mean, because like when I was working with the cable company, right?
Oh yeah,
And
I done been there, done that. Fuck that shit.
it's so anyway, I pull up in the parking lot, right? Because they want everybody to be there around about 7 o'clock, because they give you you have your little tablet or whatever, and then they'll tell you whatever assignments that you have, and you go get your equipment, and then out the door you go, right? So it's 7 o'clock, so we don't get no assignments till like 7:30. But I pulled up in the parking lot, everybody they shooting the shit or whatever. And for whatever reason, guess who the fuck showed up? Goddamn Staff Sergeant Harris, right? And so look, listen. I was about to tell these motherfuckers a new asshole. You hear me? So I heard up and parked, right? And right when I got out the car, something a light went on. Like, hey, look, you ain't in the army no more. You can't go up there and tell these people that, right? So I'm just like, so I shook that shit off. But then I went to this one person's house and smoked. I'm just like, that house was so fucked up.
It's and that's when I started talking to the right people, I realized that was a problem for me.
Yeah.
And that's when it became, why you in the house so much? So
Yeah.
I ain't got to deal with this shit. I don't have to. The more I stay in the house, and the more, if I ain't riding my motorcycle,
Mm-hmm.
or if I ain't doing nothing, with the job or something, or fixing something at my mom's house, or something like that, or whatever, I'm by
So yeah.
myself. I'm
So
by
yeah. So
myself, and I'm at peace. And I can't deal with him because I'll say something. Why you say that? Cause it needed to be said. Yeah.
yeah. And then I told him, I told her, so I told her about that. Then I told her when I worked at HEB, right? And how the Gatorade they put the shit in a little semi cardboard box or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I know it ain't the customer's job to throw away the cardboard, but I would get like a handful of them damn cardboard boxes, and I pack them together in such a way. And then sometimes God forbid who's coming up the same aisle. Because I could be going this way, and whoever's coming up, they coming towards me, right? And it could be a coworker or it could be a customer. And I smoke. It'd be sometimes I'll be want to take them damn boxes and just slap the shit out of whoever's coming my way, right? They ain't had to necessarily do anything to me. It's just like I got some in my hand. I can knock you on your ass with it if I just wanted to. So I told the woman that, and then I told her about I was restocking the potato chip aisle, and somebody put a bundle of bananas on the pile of the cardboard boxes. It was like about 4 or 5 people there, right? And so I just said, and I yelled. I said, "Hey, which one of y'all did this?" And did nobody? So you already know, wasn't nobody gonna claim it up. Wasn't nobody gonna claim that. So I'm like, okay, I got it. Fuck games as usual, right? And so one I went back and told the manager. And so, and the only reason why the manager didn't do anything to me, because shit, he retired already too. He was a retired first sergeant. But he told me, he said, "Look, Kurt, you can't talk to these people like that." And so I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, I got it. But it was the same. Put like this, it was the same thing when I worked at the cable company. It was the same thing when I worked at HEB. It was the same thing when I worked at Amazon. I'm just like, I can't deal with you too tough, especially if it's something that's simple. And I told her that. I told her that. She said, "Well," so then she asked me like, "Do you like being around people?" No. Right? So she was just like, I said, nah, after I done had a drink or two or whatever, then I tend to loosen up a little bit, but you don't want to be like that, but I mean, she's writing all that shit down. And so the guy that's working with me, right? Matter of fact, he called me yesterday. And so he said, well, Dr. Cooley put you down for 70%. I guess that's like how far gone you are mentally or whatever. So he told me like if he was just to act like really just do that right there, right, then that would put me at 90, right? But
Yeah.
then he uh he actually really went back and he saw some shit. He like, well, I see that you got problems out of your hip. He said, well, what about your right one? I said, yeah, that motherfucker, it's starting to bother me too, right? And then he said, did you when you was deployed, when you went to war, did you have sinus problems now? I'm like, look, I can't breathe in my nose now, right? I either can't put like this. I'm either breathing out of my mouth or I'm breathing out of one nostril, right? Because my sinuses be so fucked up, and I take every motherfucking thing known to man, right? And so he was writing all that shit down. Um, so hopefully, before, because he said, look, we're gonna hurry up and we're gonna get this stuff up, and hopefully, he said, hopefully by before summer starts, we'll go ahead and have you for 50%, have you at 100%. So uh, and then whatever. Then I'm also looking at stuff like, okay, well, whatever back pay that they gonna give me. So that'll be nice too. So, but yeah, smooth. But you know this. You know your boy's fucked up. So hey, it is what it is. Because I get where now. I smoke a little weed now. Uh, yeah,
I never thought I'd see the day I hear you say that.
yeah. Matter of fact,
Hey man, look, is
yeah. I mean, because like I remember
you
I come.
you ain't got no choice at some point, man. It's the most. I just feel like it is the most therapeutic thing you could do to your
Uh-huh.
body, and not in excess, because
Yeah,
I'm not saying that you want to be high as a giraffe's ass, but I get it. Oh, I
yeah,
truly and totally get it. And it's not to eat; it's just to be calm,
yeah.
to
I mean,
feel
because like
free.
yeah, I mean, because like the first time I never get it. It was last year. The first time that because they were like, hey, I was over my sister-in-law house, and the guy that she's with, he smoked. So I just said, well, let me try it or whatever. And then, I got virgin lungs, right? But like with smoke, when that shit hit me, oh my God, it felt like somebody had my head and they were just massaging the shit out of that motherfucker, like really. And then uh, I was just everything was motherfucking funny to me, right? It felt like I had a whole. It felt like motherfuckers was massaging my gums and shit, and I'm just like, so I mean, look, they started with my head, and they went from my head to my mouth, and then they went from my mouth to my legs, and it felt like somebody was like putting slabs of concrete on my legs, and I couldn't move, right? And so they was like, "What's wrong with you?" So I'm like, "I can't move my legs."
I ain't
I
moving.
mean, but once I got past that stage, then yeah, talk about actually like really being relaxed, and I slept. I like that's like some of the best sleep ever. Didn't shit hurt on me or nothing. So yeah, so I'll smoke a little bit, and then uh, we sometimes we'll get the gummies or we'll get like the cookies or whatever, and
Yeah, that's a little way better.
And then, you know, we'll eat on them, but I'm just like, I mean, because don't I mean drinking is good, ain't you know, but I mean, but that weed, yeah, and you know, especially if it's the good stuff, right? So I mean, because I done had some shit and I ain't feel nothing, but you know, some of that shit, you know, they feel. I swear, I feel like motherfuckers up there just massaging the shit out of my gums or whatever, and then I'm just like, what the fuck is this? You know? Then I want to go in the kitchen and eat up every goddamn thing, right? So, but yeah, I mean, but it's I will say it's it's some good shit though. It really is.
But on that note, man, we're gonna have to run it back a little later on and pick up some more issues and tackle that Mississippi 1020.
Oh yeah. So because Zach he told me he couldn't do it today, so I'll just say, hey, look, next week if we can get after next week, let's get after next week.
Okay, most definitely. But peace and love to you. Shout out to the family, and I'll holler at you later.
All right, that's Super Smoke. We're gonna holler at you now.
All right.
All right, yep. All right, y'all. Another show in the books. Hey, you know, we didn't get the chance to talk about the the Mississippi 10 law. I got to get out of here. I got some errands to run. You know, and but just like I say, hey, look, y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Stay out of motherfucking trouble. And but before you do that, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dan, tell Big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, cross the street, round the corner. Paul's Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. Till next time, y'all have a good one.